Welcome to Stuck in My Mind podcast, the show where we dive into the mind of a regular guy on his road to self-discovery. You'll hear everyday people just like you share the latest topics, personal stories, and things they've learned along the way. And now, please welcome your host, WIZE.
And welcome to another episode. And I have a very special guest. He's a fellow podcaster. He's a funny guy. His podcast, Walt's Kitchen Table. Welcome to the show, Walt Blau.
Hey, what's up, my man? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Hell, I am overflowing with gratitude. That is for sure.
That is awesome. That is definitely awesome. I was actually listening to prior to us recording. I was actually sitting down listening to your podcast, and it was cool because it's similar. It's not like mine. It's similar to mine, but I just love the way when you talk to your guests, it's just a natural conversation. It isn't anything that's really scripted or anything like that. You really just sit down and have a normal conversation with someone.
Yeah. I recorded last night with a gentleman that's a traveling photographer. And he, at the end, we got talking after we stopped recording, and he goes, "This is just like if I saw you at the airport and we were sitting next to one another waiting for our plane at the gate." And I go, exactly. That's some of the best conversations I've ever had. Just comes natural. That's what you think naturally, what you talk about naturally, what comes to you. So that's the way I enjoy it. And that's why I call it the kitchen table. When, as I grew up, I learned everything at our kitchen table. My mom was judge, jury, and executioner. She held court at the kitchen table, life lessons, stories, all that good stuff. So, I say, hey, come sit at my table and let's just talk about everything and anything.
Definitely, and that's been great for me, being able to sit down and just talk to different people, and I have different types of people, and I've had authors, celebrities, and even when I speak to a celebrity, when you sit down and you have the conversation with these people, they're just regular people. They're just like you and me, and it's like any of my guests. They're just people here who because everyone has a story to share. I feel everyone has their own story to share, and it's unique in its way. And I feel like a lot of my guests just have something they just need to share, and I'm glad that I'm able to share it along with my listeners.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I'm again, our formats are similar. When I first started, I didn't put a timeline on our recording. I would just go until it kind of fizzled out, right? And I would be the judge of that. And after a while, I was like, okay, I gotta close these
Trim
down.
it down.
Yeah, I gotta trim this. And people would come on and they would say, "How do I prepare?" I said, "Just come and relax and have a good time. That's it." This is back pre-COVID, so we were doing it in person. But even on Zoom and StreamYard, I was like, just relax. I'll guide the conversation, no problem. And at 90 minutes, I'm like, holy Jesus, dude, you got to, all right, we got to cut this short. And they're like, wow, I didn't think I had anything to talk about. And I'm like, see, that's it. As soon as you get a platform to open up, people, and somebody's truly listening to you, people will talk all day. That's what we're meant to do, is share stories and have good conversation.
You're absolutely right, man. You're definitely absolutely right. And because there's sometimes I have to realize, all right, I have to keep it between 35, 45 minutes long. I don't want to keep, because I like one of my first, probably episode 17 or 18. It's like a 2-part episode because I recorded with someone from India, and he had a unique story. He was in a horrific accident. His face was just so totally destroyed, and he had to multiple surgeries, and he had a crazy story. But It was 3 hours long.
I've been there, man.
Yeah, it was 3 hours long. So I had to make it into like a 2-part series, and I'm like, I'll never. And a couple other times I've had people that probably gone almost 2 hours. If you just because you're just there talking and just having such a great conversation that you don't realize that you've recorded so much content, and you're like, you know what? I really don't want to separate this episode into multiple episodes. Here we go, just one.
Yeah. And then, what's nice too, because when we were in person, when I was doing it in person, I didn't have a timer. I didn't look at a clock. I didn't do anything. And I was recording directly on the GarageBand at the time. So they would have a timer up there. But what I did was switch it to the Metrodome thing. So I couldn't even see the timer. And when you're not looking at a timer, dude, the same thing. It's 2 hours later, we'll be talking and everything, laughing, everything's going good. And I look at my phone and be like, fuck, oh man, we got to close this down. But that's
you don't realize how much you have in common with people. Is sometimes you like. I had a actress on. She was from Houston, and it was crazy because she was a big Scarface fan, and you would and if you see this woman, you would not think she was a Scarface fan. You would think like she wouldn't even think she would know who Scarface is. And for people out there who don't know, he is just one of the greatest hip hop artists out of Houston. And when she was naming some of his songs and she was actually rhyming his songs, I'm like, look at this lady. It's a white lady. She's in probably her 40s, and she's singing the Ghetto Boys.
Oh,
and I'm like, this is amazing. Like you would never find out you have that in common with someone.
Oh, yeah, especially because right, you make a judgment call right away. You look at her and you're like, "There's no way that." And then she starts quoting it and singing it, and you're like, "Okay,
yeah, you're like,
wow,
what the?
that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
No, I learned a long time ago, man. Of course, judgment is built. I believe it's built into our DNA from. I believe we were cavemen and doing all that. And of course, judgment kept us alive, right? You see something, you're like, do we kill it or do we go shake its hand? And most of the time, you kill it because it's a threat back then anyway. But that's built in our DNA, man. You can't get rid of that in 100 years or even 200 years. So I see you or I see somebody driving down the road, and it's funny. We say this. My wife and I were driving, taking our son to the doctor. She was driving, and a couple times she's like, this dude is not driving right, or this dude's in the way, or this dude's doing this with his car, in front of us or behind us or side of us. And I said, you know what? Just so you know, every time I looked in this car when we drove by it, it was a woman driving. But you were saying it was a dude. And I do that. If I see a car not operating the way I think it should be operating, in my mind, automatically it's a woman. Man, this lady's in my way. Oh, this lady's not going fast enough. So now I catch myself. I'll be, I'll say, oh, she's in my way. And I'll drive by and it's some dude like my age and looks like me. And I'm like, fuck. All right, well, but it's judgment, man. We all have it, and you can't get down on yourself for you just got to look at it and be like, yeah, I judged it. Okay, now what? Next.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny that you say that I'm judging people because I'm a table game dealer at a casino, and we have a young man. We have a young man that he's a sweet kid. He is a sweet kid, and he's it's like his just the way he comes into work with the energy of you're like. I remember when I first started my first job, and that kind of energy. He has that kind of energy when you're like, this is my first big job, and he's there with all this energy, and he's dancing when there's no cut, when he doesn't have any players at his table, and I'm just looking and I just laugh, and I'm like, that makes that I enjoy that. I find it funny, but it kind of brings me energy because to see someone enjoy what they're doing so much, it just kind of just like makes you really wonder, like, hey, this is cool. Like, I wish I still had that kind of fire for the job.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, you could through osmosis, you could bring up with a little bit of that from him. You see that, and you're like, hey, if he can do it, I don't know what makes him so happy, but it doesn't really matter. He's happy and enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Either that, or he's a psychopath. But other than that,
I wouldn't put it past. It's just he does say a couple of weird things here and there, but he's a good kid for the most part.
now is that over at the casino in your neck of the woods?
Yes,
You still work?
we won't name that casino. We won't promote that
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. I
But
get it.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah, I'm
Uh,
near you. Yes, it's that one.
what,
It's world famous. Yes,
yeah. Do you were a table dealer then?
yes.
Oh, see, I'm a big poker player. I don't.
Yeah, yeah. We had a real big bad beat, and it hit probably like a couple of weeks ago.
No shit, huh? Oh, I always
Yeah,
like to hear those. Yeah. Oh, nice.
yeah. The bad beat hit there a couple of weeks ago. So now the poker room kind of died down because
Yeah. Yeah.
we were busy for a minute.
Oh,
Again, the bad beat, like, and then to have someone hit it. Oh man, yeah.
oh, yeah. I was traveling not too long ago, and there was high hand. I was playing 1-3, and a guy hit a royal flush for a high hand, and it paid out like $2,800. Wasn't
That's
too
nice.
bad.
That's
Yeah,
that's a nice chunk that you don't expect. Yeah.
yeah, and he gave the dealer $50, and I was like, seriously, bro? All right, well, I think differently than that, but
You'd be amazed, man. You'd be amazed. We can tell you stories
oh
when people
yeah,
hit jackpots, and you think like, oh, they probably gave the dealers a couple of $1,000,
nothing.
$50, $100, because they sometimes a lot of people think that their dealers make a lot of money. They
Nah.
work on tips. They rely on people's tips,
Yeah,
especially well, at least here in the casinos here in Pennsylvania. A lot of the dealers, we rely on tips. People think that we want you to lose. Like, no, we want people to win. We want them to have a good time, win. Because if
and
they win, we win. They tip us.
yeah. Now with dealers, is that like a waitress to where they can pay you under minimum wage because they know you're going to get tips?
We get some of us make between 4 something an hour. Some of us are at 5. Yeah,
Fuck. Damn, dude. Sorry, man. That's crazy. Damn.
but then you get like right now it's slow season right now for
Yeah, but
us. But
yeah,
it's gonna pick up a little for Christmas and maybe for New Year's, and then it'll die down again till the springtime. But
right.
that's the nature of the beast. But it kind of evens us out because then when the summer comes and we're busy,
Yeah. Well, if like any gambler, I should say, that if they play long term, they know the long math on some of that stuff. Same thing with you guys. You look over a year. You don't look at this month or 2 months. If you take the average over, 12 months, if you can work with that, but now you got to manage your money, now you got to manage your bankroll just like a gambler, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, I was taught never bet more than a third of in one game, never bet more than a third of your bankroll. The guy that really taught me how to play Texas Hold'em told me that.
I'm not a big poker player. I'm a craps guy. I love playing craps.
What a fucking
I'm
mystery that is.
I'm not a big poker player, man. But a lot of my friends are. They love playing poker, and then they love dealing poker. Like I don't really deal it either. So
I was going to ask you, do you deal? Do you work? Do you deal any when they get busy? Do they pull you in?
I deal everything except for poker and pie guy tiles. I deal roulette,
Oh,
craps, baccarat, all the carny games. I deal all
yeah,
that, but
nice.
uh,
Now,
as
what do
far
you
as
what do you
poker, not really.
what do you call the carny games like 3 card poker and all
Yeah,
that?
3 card poker, crazy for poker, let it die.
Let
It's called let it ride, but we call it let it die. Um,
I love
there's
that, dude. You call it carny games. Oh, I'm so
yeah,
stealing that from you. I love it.
but that's what they call them. That's what they consider. They consider carny games. Like
Yeah, yeah,
there's certain games that are core games, like poker, blackjack, craps, roulette,
right.
baccarat. These are games that you have to, at least to deal them, you have to be take a course and be certified.
Oh,
And
okay.
then these other side games, you just learn them and you get certified on the table as you learn.
Yeah, I can see how that goes. You're good, bro. Just start dealing.
Yeah, listen, if you can count up to 21, you can deal.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah, I, the thing though is, I got talking about casinos the other day, and I'm a casino fan. You know, I love poker, and casinos are fun to me, but they're a parasite to the community around them. You know, people think that they're going to bring in jobs and do all that, and I saw it firsthand growing up. Where I grew up, they brought in an Indian casino, and it devastated. You know, of course, the PR and the marketing before it came was like, look at all this we're bringing in, and we'll bring this in, we'll bring this in, and it just like I said, just look up the definition of a parasite, and that's what a casino is.
And that's kind of like it. Kind of it's funny because with me starting to doing my podcast and everything, and trying to have it kind of focus on just positive content, just bringing people on to share their stories and just like I've had people come on and share marketing tips and all these other tips and try to help
Sure.
people. And then I would think and I know because you see it every day. You see people that they shouldn't be in there, and they're there every day gambling.
Uh,
I just actually had to take a course. I had to take my compulsive gambling course uh, before the end of today, but I completed it earlier this week. And it's something where you have to sit down and they talk about compulsive gambling and in there like they talk about how you should tell someone if they have a problem to go to 1-800 gambler. But how do you tell like someone at a table that you feel that what is not really my place to tell someone how to spend their money, even though I know
yeah,
they shouldn't be gambling.
I know. And like, what are your bosses going to think when you're going to roll up on this guy and be like, I don't think you should spend any more money here. You need to go away. They're going to kill
Yeah.
you, dude. They're going to be like, what the hell are you doing? It's like, I think he has a problem. What the fuck? What do you know? You scared away a customer. And it's like,
Are you a
okay,
like you're a professional? Like, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, and the same, I worked in the bar business for years, and it involved, you know, drinking and drugs and getting involved in drugs and doing all that, and just seeing people circle that drain, dude. And I was a security, you know, bouncer type guy
Yeah.
in peeler bars for a long time, and watching those ladies circle the drain, chasing that stuff, and it's not fun to watch, man. And you look back, or you look at it, and you're like, how can I help that? And you can't. I mean, they gotta get out of it themselves. I mean, sure, you can help people in a way, but you can't save the world, man. They'll take you down with them,
Yeah.
unfortunately. You know,
And
but
yeah. So with me, it's just kind of like for a minute, it was kind of weighing heavy on me. Like, do I really want to continue to do the job, knowing that I'm on a path of trying to help people improve their lives. And here I am, a table games dealer, even though I know it's his job, it's just a profession and everything like that,
Sure.
taking away people's mortgages, their life savings, whatever it is, like that, where you actually are taking their last of the rent money. They're just out there gambling. So it kind of it's weighed on me more recently. When I first started, I was hype about making good money.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is too, dude, and it's just like any other machine. If your morals get to you that way and you walk away within 30 seconds, somebody's going to step right up behind you, and that dude that you're worried about giving away his mortgage, he's going to be right there giving away his mortgage. That's the way I kind of compartmentalized that stuff when I was there as well. I mean, I can't control your actions. Sure, in the environment that I was in I guess you would put you in that same environment, gambling and drugs and women and all that, right? So,
Yeah,
am I being a part of this? But I couldn't get away from the money. The money was crazy, dude. I was like, hey, man, if you want to get rid of your mortgage, that's on you, man. But look at what I'm breaking. So, but that was a whole lifetime ago. I look at things different. So I can see what you're thinking, but I don't know, man. I mean, you still got to make a living too.
yeah, and it's an honest living. Listen, it pays the bills. I get paid to play games,
Yeah.
and I have a schedule that allows me to do this. Allows me to work on my production company, and allows me the time to build something outside of work. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have a full-time job, which I absolutely love it. I love it. It's very fulfilling. I got a great work-life balance. And then I have a very understanding wife that I can get this stuff done in the evenings. And the admin stuff, as you know, with this kind of production, you know, this is the show part. The biz
Yep.
part takes 10 times as long as the show part. So I get up first thing in the morning and try to put a solid hour in to the business and admin stuff in the morning. Then I go to the gym and then I go to work. And then that way, when I come home in the evenings, I can hang out with the family and get that time in as well. That's how I try to balance this. But the same thing with you. My day job gives me that ability. Like during the day, I could take time and work on stuff on my phone for my podcast. I don't try to unless it's something, a timeline or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of nice to get to a balance like this where I don't get mad that I got to go to work. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time where I had a career. I ended up retiring from that career 20 years. But there was a section during those years that I would get physically sick over the weekend knowing that I got to go to work on Monday. And like, who the hell wants to live that? So, but same with you. I wrestled with my morals. Man, I got so much time in this place. Do I get rid of all this time or do I just suck it up and wait for, my retirement years and move on? And that's actually what I ended up doing. But when you get physically sick, knowing you got to go somewhere, man, you got to really look deep in and see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
do that. It's because it's crazy because when I first wanted to start the podcast, I was going to start it with a friend of mine, and we were going to go a completely different other way. We were going to do a sports podcast. It was going to be sports and entertainment, and life happens. Him and his wife got pregnant. They had a baby, so he was out of the picture. So I just decided. I was just sitting here one day. I was furloughed from work. This was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was just sitting here with my nephew, and I had already had a Behringer podcast studio that I purchased the year before, and I had just been messing around with it, and I just pressed record on Audacity. I started with Audacity. I started with the basic. I started with a little mixer, a mic, a headphones, and Audacity. That's
Right.
that's what launched my podcast.
Yeah, but you started.
Yeah, that's the key. I started. I press record, and that's what I always tell someone when they're like, "Oh, what do I need to start a podcast?" Just press record. Doesn't matter
So,
what equipment you have. What do you have? Everything with time, everything improves.
100%.
Yeah.
I told a guy one time, he asked me the same thing, and the only thing I added to I go, you got to have the balls enough to press record.
Yeah.
And I bought a little kit. It was rolling around in my mind for a long time, and I bought a little kit off Amazon, which I still use the mixer. It's a little Tascam mixer, and I think that's about the only thing left that I had in the kit because I just slowly started upgrading, the mic, and this mic is the newest acquisition, but it's been a ride, dude. It's so much fun. And what you said about the sports podcast, when I got thinking of mine, I was like, I want to have a platform that doesn't have a ceiling or walls or anything. It's not a key, it's not a niche, it's not keyholed into anything. So that way I can go in any direction that I want. And that's how I set it up. And it seems like you did the same.
Yeah, I did. It's cool that way because it gives me so many different avenues to really take my podcast. It doesn't. I don't have to pigeonhole myself into just being a self-help podcast or being a entrepreneur podcast. I can go into so many different directions with the format of my podcast. It just happens that I just happen to have a lot of entrepreneurs and and marketers and all different types. But my podcast is it's a conversation podcast.
Yeah, I don't look at it as interviews. And when I look at things to come on and do what we're doing, this is what I look for. I don't want to be interviewed, man. Don't put me in a hole because I'll completely blow up your format, and it just doesn't work because you'd be like, all right, you have 7 words or you have 4 minutes to describe this. And I'll be like, what?
Yeah. To me, it's like you're gonna answer the same question over and over again,
right?
When you do all these other podcasts. So why would I want to be like anyone else and just ask you the same question that you might have recommended that they ask on your profile of wherever they met you at? Because I recruit all my own guests. I'm on so many different platforms looking at guests and looking at their profiles, and I'll read their profiles and I'll sit down and if I feel it's something like this is interesting to me, I'll reach out and I'll send the schedule link, and we'll schedule something.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been people I've passed by because I just I didn't feel the energy. Like there's certain people who like, when I read your profile, I'm like, all right, this is cool. This is someone I could enjoy having a conversation with. All right, definitely. Let's make this happen. So
Yeah, sure.
So it's kind of good because again, the administration part of it all. People think it is hard. It's like I do everything for my podcast. I don't have a team behind me. I don't have a machine behind me. I don't have Spotify. I don't have all these other. It's me. I'm the machine.
Mm-hmm.
I do everything. I'm the editing. I'm the promoting. I'm everything behind my podcast. I'm growing it myself, building it myself. But I just be myself. I just enjoy what I do. So I just be myself and it helps with editing because I kind of like yeah, I'll edit some things out. Sometimes things happen and we have to edit things, but for the most part, I try to keep it 100% how I recorded it.
Yeah, I do. I can't even tell you the last time I added one in my episodes. No, with StreamYard, I'll clip a little bit off the front and the back because, like, to hit end record, we're sitting here staring at each other for a
Yeah,
minute, and I'm
seriously.
going, and
At the
so
beginning as well, yeah.
so I'll clip that off. But other than that, dude, it's exactly, you hear people. You might hear my wife pass by in the kitchen. You hear me clicking a pen. Somebody burps, they clink their glass. I mean, because to me, in my format and the title and all that, I mean, if you and I are sitting at the table, are we going to be all quiet and are we going to
No.
edit what we say? Shit, no, dude. We're gonna be laughing and slapping our hand on the table and doing all that kind of stuff. So I try to keep it. Obviously, I was involved with a video photo company for a long time. I helped build it to a successful business and all that. And I know how important sound is. For the first couple of years, I was the sound guy. I was the guy holding the boom, going plane, and all that shit. So I know how important sound is, and there's some episodes in my arsenal that I leave them up though. I'm like, hey man, that's cool, dude.
That's growth. It's growth.
So
Like
just,
if you listen to my first few episodes, you
they're
can
horrible,
tell.
right? Mine are horrible, dude. I didn't even. Dude,
It's growth. Listen, like I said, my first episode was 5 minutes long. Was like 5 minutes long.
Shit.
The
Okay.
second one was like 7 minutes. The third one goes up to like 10. I gradually go up with each episode,
Sure,
and then
sure.
I start adding little pieces out. I added an intro in this episode. I added something else on this episode. And it's just like kind of snowballed into what it is now. But along the way, once I found out this is what I wanted to do, I invested in myself. Like I said, I had originally started with a little Behringer studio. It was the mixer, headphones, a mic, and something to plug it into my laptop. To where now I have my mic is. I love the mic that I have. It's a Audio Technica mic. Sounds amazing. I love it. I have the holy grail for podcasters in the Rodecaster Pro.
Yep.
I have a pretty good streaming camera with the Logitech cam.
Yeah, that's my next step.
But it's me recognizing that this is what I want to do and investing in myself and investing 100%. In the time and taking the courses that I need to learn how to edit and how to make sure sound is correct and but it's growth. It's growth. It's me growing as a podcaster. It's me growing my skills and my talents. I've added in a year and a half, like multiple titles to make my like producer, editor, business owner, all these different things, content creator. That it's just helping me build myself up and it's helping me develop and grow as a person because the conversations that I have with people. Yesterday, I sat down with his specialty is helping people lose weight and everything, but the way he did it was unique, and when having him explain it to me and break it down, it made a lot of sense. That some of the things he was telling me, I'm like, I'm gonna apply them to myself and see how they work with me. And that's how it is. That's how it's been with a lot of my guests is, okay, they might say something that resonates with me. And I'm like, let me apply that to myself and see how that works for me. And at one point I felt it was selfish on my part. And a guest of mine is correcting me and says, no, that's self-love. That's you wanting to grow and develop So it's not selfish on your part taking from what your guests are giving you.
No, I agree with him. And you're giving something back in them coming on and being able to have a platform to express what they're doing and what they'd love to do and what their passion is. Now they can come on here and spit in the mic and talk all about it. And if you pick something up, that's a lot of respect you're giving them for pulling that information and actually doing something about it, actually executing what they're so passionate about. Yeah, I love that, dude. That's cool. And that's
Yeah.
a big reason I do this. I mean, some of the guests that I had, and like the guy last night, shit, dude, he's a traveling photographer. And one of his stories, he took a sabbatical, a 6-month sabbatical. And I go, so did you take like a real sabbatical or did you sit on a couch and watch Netflix, and say you were on a sabbatical? And he laughed, And he goes, no, my wife and I took 6 months to travel the Silk Road in Asia. And we timed it. So we ended up in Japan at the peak of the blossom season. I was like, holy shit, dude. you traveled the whole Silk Road, like from beginning to end. He goes, uh-huh. I go, you did the sailing and everything. He goes, uh-huh. He goes, there's companies that'll do that, those parts of it. I was like, wow, dude. And he got talking about that. And that was just amazing. I love hearing that this guy is so passionate about photography that he took 6 months off of work and did that,
Wow.
And he's got an old lady, a wife that'll travel along, do it with him. So that's even better. You got somebody who'll do that.
Yeah. It's crazy because my wife supports me 100%.
Same here.
She doesn't listen to me. She doesn't listen to me. She doesn't listen to my podcast whatsoever.
Nope, mine doesn't either.
But she supports me 100% because when I first started, she realized I was not paying attention to my PlayStation. I completely abandoned my PlayStation and left it.
Oh, congratulations, dude.
Collecting dust in the corner. And she goes, see, I can support you doing this because I see that you're dedicated to it. I see that you're wanting to do this. And I actually see that you're pretty good at it. So I can support this. And it's to the fact that you've just abandoned your PlayStation, I know you're serious about this.
Yeah. That's a level of seriousness right there.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, but look what it's doing for you to begin with compared to what that PlayStation was doing.
Yeah, I wasn't gaining anything. I'm gaining some knowledge by doing this. I'm gaining skills. I'm improving as a person. Not saying that people who play games don't improve. Hey, listen, a lot of gamers make money. But for me, it was something that I needed to give up on my path of self-discovery. Like I said in my intro, like it's me. My podcast is me on a journey, growing and learning, and hopefully my guests can share something that my listeners can be like, wow, I needed to hear that message today. Like not every episode is going to resonate with someone.
No. And don't try to do that either. I heard a guy, I've been listening to his podcast for a long time, and he's a very successful businessman, but the way he does podcasts, he doesn't talk about numbers and doing all that. He just talks about being a good dude, but his delivery system is extremely aggressive. He'll call you all sorts of names and, he'll get in that direction. So that speaks to me. I know that's my kind of language. And he said, if you got 100 people, you're not going to please that 100 people. Yeah. But you got the 50 people out of that 100, they love you to death. So you know what you should do? Instead of trying to keep your 50 people happy and try to gain in the other 50, forget about them. Just concentrate on the 50 you got, show them as much love as possible, and the other ones will see that and they'll migrate on their own. but why try selling to a no? I don't know if
Yeah.
you're, if you know there are no, dude, there's what, 7 billion people out there. Somebody else is going to say yes. Why are you going to sit there and try to sell to a no? And that throughout my career, especially in the video company, because that was my position. I was partners in that, and my side of it was the business side, and I was to grow that because my partner was like, she was a one man show, and she's like, I can't stand the business part. She's brilliant with numbers, brilliant behind the
Yeah.
scenes with books and numbers, but like going to meetings and meeting people and try to drum up business, she couldn't stand it. But she's uber talented creating content. In my previous career, that's what I did, was marketing and selling. And I was like, oh, that'll be fun, man, dude. Oh, dude, it was fun. It was great. You want to talk about some experiences that I didn't have a clue about until
Yeah.
I got punched in the face a couple times, and I was like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. But that was a great, that's that was cool with going into business and doing that. But now I guess the new word I heard the other day was intrapreneur. You know what that is? Have you
No.
heard that? So you got entrepreneur, you own your own business, right?
Yeah.
And you ever hear the saying, like, you don't have to be a number one. You could be a number 35 in a
Okay.
business, right? And be very successful. And I guess that's what they're calling an entrepreneur, because you have the entrepreneur mindset, but you work for a company and you take that mindset on the inside. So
Okay.
I don't know. That's just a little tidbit, and I heard the other day.
No,
But
that's a good tidbit. That's a really good tidbit to know.
yep. But uh, I got to. I just thought of this. Of course, it's a huge part of my life. I got a pretty good story that I've been told multiple times. It's inspirational. I don't know if we talked about it off air
No,
or
I don't think we had a chance.
uh, back in 2016. I was paralyzed from the waist down. I woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't feel from my waist down, and just to give you an idea, and we can get into it, but not this morning, yesterday morning, I did a 1,100-pound triple and ran a mile and a half. So, and I got a fake back right above my belt line is carbon fiber. And that's to lay in a hospital bed and think that you're not going to walk again. I don't know how some of these people do it, man. They sit in the hospital for months and years at a time. They can't walk and they can't move, and they got a steel trap of a mind, because I would have never made it, dude. I don't know if you have any experience with that kind of stuff, but
No, no. It's amazing how the mind works. It really is. You can people. It's. I feel like your mind made you walk again. Like you willed yourself to walk again. Because you believed so much in the fact that I'm gonna walk again. It was in your head. It was ingrained in your head, and that's how it is. That's the mind is so powerful. We
oh,
don't even know the capabilities of our mind.
no, I don't even think we even have a percent of a percent of a percent of
Of
knowing that.
yeah. So I truly do believe that we can regenerate. Like if we were to come together as a collective and start believing this, I think people could regenerate limbs.
I could,
That's just me.
yeah, I don't see that as my first reaction wasn't like, you're crazy. No, my first reaction was like, yeah, I could see that much power and that much energy, right? All into one thing. I mean, look what one person can do. Can you, like,
Imagine
you
that's
just,
effective. Yeah.
yeah, could you imagine that? a million people doing that all together. Ooh, that would wow, dude, that would be kind of fun to see. I probably won't be around for that. That won't happen for a while. You and I will be.
Yeah, we won't be a part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back to
We'll,
Stardust, dude. At that point,
we'll just be we'll be legends out there because they'll still be able to listen to our podcasts and stuff like that. So we'll still be out there spreading whatever message we have to spread, but we won't be able to see that part. But yeah, man, I'm a true believer in what the mind is capable of, and what and just the fact in a lot of the things that with just a little shift in my thought process and a little shift in what my beliefs are has really taken me to another level as far as being a creator. It's just, prior to this, I didn't think of myself as a content creator, someone who was creative. I was really into sports and stuff like that. I didn't consider myself an artist. I didn't consider myself. And then when I started podcasting and doing the things that I started doing, like creating logos, creating cover arts, creating all these different, I started realizing I am creative. I am capable of doing so many different things. And it was just me pigeonhole myself,
Wow.
telling myself that I can't do these things. I'm not capable. I'm not talented enough.
now the thing is, let me jump in on that one because I kind of jump on a soapbox a little bit about this. I don't think that's you saying that, bud. When you were
society, yeah.
yeah, society. But somebody told you that way back when you drew something and you thought it was amazing, and they're like, "Dude, that sucks." Pow. No, I'm not an artist. And then you've been hanging on to that. I did the same exact thing. Like with blogging, I'm like, I don't know how to write. Man, I don't write nothing.
Yeah.
And I've been blogging and I love it. I love this format the most because I'm a talker. And then like going back to what you said, the creating cover art and just going crazy with Instagram stories, using I use Canva, but it's so unlimited and you can get overly creative and it's a blast, dude.
Yeah.
And of course you're going to get somebody like, that's stupid. No, cool. Don't fucking look at it again. But yeah, that's no, I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm glad to hear it. What do you use for programs for your artwork?
I use Canva.
Do you? Yeah. I love it, dude. I love it.
I love Canva. I do so much with Canva. I actually created someone a logo using Canva.
Oh yeah.
I created a couple of people some logos using Canva. It's amazing, especially like I said, I've invested in myself, so I went and purchased it. They have a free version and they have a pro version. I went and got me the pro version. I was like, you know what? It's an investment in myself.
Yeah, I did as well. I don't even remember how much it was. It was like, shit, dude, I can't even guess how much it was.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I just paid it.
Yeah, same here. Do you put video in it now?
Yes. I've been slacking. I need to get back to it again. But I usually record an inspirational quote of the day, and I've used Canva to record it directly. Like,
oh no shit, I didn't know that. I didn't get that part of it.
Oh, you didn't know you can record on Canva? You can make videos on Canva. Oh, you didn't. I'm gonna have to share this with you right quick.
So what I do is I just built one before I came on with you for
Yeah.
the little off the cuff video that I got coming out, I'll take a 10-second clip. I use Filmora, and I take a 10-second
Yeah, I
clip
have
out of
Filmora. Yes.
what's that?
I have Filmora. Yes. One to share with Filmora. Yes, I have that.
Yeah, I use that to create my YouTube videos, and then I'll download that clip, that 10-second clip on Canva, and then I add that clip into my artwork.
Oh.
What I'll do, dude, when I post it tomorrow, I'll tag you on it with Instagram, and you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, when I found that out like 4 months ago, longer than that. But when I found that out, I was like, this is a game changer. This is amazing.
Well, yeah. So when I found out I could record myself on Canva, I thought that I was like,
Now, is that the little thing when you go to design and it says,
okay. So if you go to video and you go to uploads, right? It'll say, oh, we can share this. This is why technology. So
that's what
takes time.
StreamYard's about, right?
Yeah, this is what we do. All right. So everyone's gonna get a little tutorial here on StreamYard, but this is record right there. You can record let's enhance this. And you can record yourself. And you record your video, and
so it's going to end up on the bottom of the screen down there, and then you add it like you normally would.
No. Hold on. I'm going to show you. If you press record yourself, it takes you to this screen, and it asks to take control of your camera and stuff like that. Right, but I won't use it right now because we're using it for StreamYard, but it asks you to use your camera so you can record.
See, I thought you were talking about, I've seen that part of it. I didn't use it because it just wasn't fitting what I was doing at the time. But if you go to your design, yeah. I'm on my mobile app, so I don't know if element upload. No. Hang on. Let me do this again. When you first open it up and you choose from like an Instagram story or a Facebook post, that style.
Yeah.
It says mobile video.
Oh.
You see that?
What is it on the mobile app?
I don't know if you can see that on my screen, bud.
Let me see. Yes.
So I don't know. I've never tried that. So I don't know if that works like Instagram stories where you can record it. I don't know. I have not got into that. But this is what I do. And I put the video inside the story.
Oh, okay.
See my artwork there?
Yeah.
And then the video plays. Stick to what you got and enjoy the holidays, man. And just be unapologetic about it. If you have a cookie. That's what you can. I took what reminded me of it is when you said you were taking classes. I actually took a YouTube class for Canva that a guy put out. It wasn't Canva; the company didn't do it, but this guy did it on how to do video with the frames. You go into Elements and you pick out the frames and how you get the video into the frame. And dude, it was like 45 minutes long, and it was so worth my time. So, going back to that, I like to say when I was injured, it's going to apply to this Canva conversation as well.
Okay.
When I was injured and I came out of the hospital, I told my wife, I said, whatever the doctor says, I'm doing. I'm checking my ego. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, it's been 2 weeks. I feel better and going on. No, whatever he says, timeline and all that. And I believe that I've gotten pretty good at some of this artwork and doing some other things because I do check my ego. I don't say, oh, I don't need to know that. I used to be like that, by the way, a long time ago. But, you know, and I think, and sitting here talking to you, you don't sound like you do that. You're like, hey, man, I want to go down this road. I'm going down this road, and it doesn't really matter. So that's pretty cool to hear, man.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know I'm still learning. I know I don't know it all. So that's for me. I'm I'm kind of like you, where you're always asking questions. You want to know stuff. You want to, and that's how I am. That's just me wanting to grow and learn and develop myself. I wish everyone was like that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
You would think, like, I sit back and I think about the past year and everything, and not so much, and how much I've grown and developed as a person. And then I sit back and I look at people and I read what they post, and I see their actions, and I see what they do and all that. And I begin to realize, like what have these people been doing in this year and a half to really to make themselves better? Like help you with getting through this, yes. But at the same time, help you become a better person. Like, I felt like you had so much time at the beginning of this pandemic, when a lot of people were furloughed at work, that maybe you could have picked up learned the language, learned the skill, learned anything in that time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And me personally, what I ended up doing, right before that all craziness happened, I was going to pay somebody to get me set up like on Libsyn. I use Libsyn,
Yeah.
for my platform, my hosting platform.
Okay.
And when all that craziness happened, I never slowed down at work. I was going 1,000 miles an hour in my job, never slowed down. I never got furloughed or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to sit down and watch some tutorial videos. And Libsyn, the company, puts out some crazy great tutorial videos. So then what I did was I split my screen, had a tutorial video on one side and my new account on the other, and watch a little bit of tutorial, paused it, did that part on my account, watched a little more, paused it, did that on my account. And it took me like 3 hours, and I was up and running, and I was like, I was going to pay somebody to do this. So I was like, and then I really launched my podcast during the pandemic. That's when it hit a launching pad big time. My website went live, my merch store went live, all that went live. And that's what I did during it. And I agree with you. Sometimes I shake my head and go, what'd you do?
Yeah. What did you do? No.
Right.
They're still the same person they were prior to the pandemic.
Yeah. And it's like, what? Yeah, that does, to me, that doesn't make sense. I'm on board with you 100%. I agree with you, man. You know, it's like, here you got this perfect opportunity. You're being paid instead of getting caught up on Netflix and doing whatever you're going to be doing. Like you said, you know, and the other thing too is this project didn't take 8 hours a day. Work on, like, using your example, learn a language, work on it for an hour a day. And within however long, look what it'll do, you know, but can't control that, dude. We can sit here and
you
talk
can't.
about it.
You go crazy. You go crazy. You would go crazy trying to control that, man.
Yeah.
Definitely go crazy trying to control that. But Walt, man, this has been amazing, Walt. This has been awesome. I love this conversation. But now it's time for you to plug away. Let everybody know where they can find you, and just go ahead. It's your time to promote you.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. Best place to get a hold of me. I'd like to drive everybody to my website. I moved everything to my website. Again, It's waltskitchentable.com or my Instagram, wktpodcast.com. I answer all my DMs. I'd love for you to reach out. Any questions? On my website, you can get to everywhere it's available. But what I like to tell people, just put in Walt's Kitchen Table Podcast in your favorite podcatcher. Most people do that nowadays. The website's got why I started this gig. It's got great pictures and stories. Also, my blogs are a lot of fun, and my merch store is up and running 100%. And I'm always working on that, so there's always new stuff. Would love for you guys to check that out. But, anything you want to reach out, just use my website, waltskitchentable.com.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you being on the show, Walt, man. This has been great.
Dude, thanks for having me. Likewise.
All right, so just hold on a second. We're going to chat a little bit after, but it is time for shout-outs. Big shout-out to my real WIZE fam, Brandy J, Poppy J. Love you guys. Big shout-out to the boss lady, Fina. Love you, baby, and appreciate you. And as always, a big, big shout-out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. And you know how your boy WIZE does it. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Listen on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, and TuneIn. Find us on social media on Twitter at WIZE_B_blunt, Instagram at WIZE_B_blunt, and a Facebook fan page, www.facebook.com/WIZE76. Check back soon for new episodes. Until next time, peace out.